Good morning, it's Pastor Ken. I've been reading from Galatians chapter 3 this morning. And in that chapter, Paul, the apostle, is chiding and scolding the Galatian church for relying on what he calls the works of the law instead of relying on the power of the Spirit to guide and nurture their spiritual lives. In this chapter, he asked the Galatian church, "Oh, you foolish Galatians, have you suffered so many things in vain?" Suffered so many things in vain. Another translation has that verse as, "Have you had so many great experiences in vain?" Now, which is it? Suffering or great experiences? And in actuality, the Greek word really has those two various and apparently contradictory meanings. And as we look at our own lives, we know that there's kind of a thin line often between suffering and a great experience. In fact, in our lives, the two stand side by side. And many times it's in our most difficult moments, in our suffering, in our greatest challenges, that we find God's richest blessings and our greatest experiences. If we're going through an illness, if we're going through some painful loss, if we're going through quarantine, sometimes our most difficult times are our greatest experiences. That's just life. That's the way it is. And I think about what's happened in these last few months, and I know that many people have suffered so greatly and still are suffering. People have lost their jobs, they've lost their livelihoods, their businesses, they've lost loved ones. There's been so much loss and suffering, and yet there's been so many bright moments of compassion and sharing and understanding. And even now with the protest and what's happening with racial injustice, so many marvelous moments and so many good things happening. Have you suffered so many things in vain? Asked Paul. Or have you gone through these great experiences for nothing? So I thank God this morning for all of life's experiences, because that's the gospel truth, that because of the grace of God, every human experience can be an avenue to growing in that grace and finding the peace and the joy that we're destined to experience in this life. Have a wonderful morning, and remember, in the end, everything goes away, even COVID-19, everything but love.
Be still and know that I am God.